Mike Owens with Inside Fighting here, joined today by the man of the moment, Renato Moicano, who returns to action UFC Paris, facing Benoit Saint Denis. Renato, always a pleasure, my man. How are things with you today?
How are you, my brother? I'm being good. How about you?
I'm very well. How are your emotions ahead of your return and ahead of a massive fight?
Pretty much the same. Feeling good, like always.
Is it your first time coming to Europe or competing in Europe? And if so, how
First
are you?
time, first time being in Europe. Never been to Europe. First time.
What is your one go-to country you'd like to visit in the continent of Europe?
I I would like to go to Italy, of course.
Italy.
Rome. I love ancient history, and I love uh, history about Roman Empire. And I want to see like not only the Colosseum, but I think Greece must be good. But I'm telling you, France is nice too. You know, I am into history, and 1789 changed the world, right? The French
Mm.
Revolution. Uh, some say not for good, some say, So really depends on your political perspective. But I would like to go to the Louvre and do all that stuff. Like uh, not Torre, not Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower was a celebration of the French Revolution. But I would like to go to many places in France. But I don't know if I go. I'm going over there for business,
Mm.
so I'm not too worried about this right now.
Well, I hope you get to see a little bit over in your time in Paris. When you enter the arena, we will have the French version of No Va here, as all of the French fans probably boo you. Do you like this situation of being the away fighter?
I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's part of the business. I am at his home, and they can boo, they can cheer for BSD. I have no problem with that. In reality, doesn't doesn't change anything.
Mm.
So I'm ready for that.
You've fought main events before. You fought at UFC 300 last time. I had the pleasure of watching you live with that fantastic fight with Jalin Turner. Where do you think this fight against Benoit ranks in terms of the biggest fights of your career?
I don't think about that too much nowadays because I don't really care. It's not about. I don't want to get caught in the moment and see, this is a good fight. This is a No. I just have to go over there and do my job, and I'm very confident and I'm very happy that I can be on the main event. But at the same time, uh, it was like the 300. Everybody was talking about the 300, and it was huge for my career, especially afterwards, right? With the speech that I did, and people
Mm.
like it. So of course that potentially changed my career, but I was not thinking too much. I don't have time to think too much about that stuff. Like, so I don't know how to answer that.
How do you like the matchup against Benoit, and what do you see as your advantages?
I think Benoit Saint Denis is very aggressive. I think he's a good grappler. Solid striker. He has knockout power. He's younger than me, so he's a challenge for sure. But I always like what I bring to the table. I always feel that I can beat anyone on this division. And September 28th, I will beat Benoit Saint Denis.
Benoit had a fantastic run, his first five fights, I think, in the UFC before coming up against Dustin Poirier at UFC 299. Did the Dustin Poirier fight change your opinion of Benoit and his threats and his skills as a whole?
Not really. I think people underestimate Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is a
Mm.
tough competition for everybody, and even though sometimes he struggle against grapplers, uh, I train with him at the gym um, now and then, not every day, but now
Mm.
and then. He is here in Florida, and we can train together. He has a very good grappling and fantastic boxer, southpaw. He's a legend. So I don't take anything from Benoit Saint Denis from losing to Dustin Poirier.
Have you sought any advice from Dustin? I mean, he's the most recent guy to defeat your next opponent. Have you had any words? I know you can't share that, but has there at least been conversations?
Yes, I talked to him a little bit about that, and I think he talked about that on Ideal Hawani show, and let's see. I don't want to talk too much about that, but for sure, Dustin Poirier helping me a lot for this fight.
When we look at Benoit's skill set, there's a lot of forward pressure, there's a lot of grit, there's a lot of war, if you will. When you look at this fight, do you feel like you're going to need to, at some stage, walk through the fire to get the victory, or do you think you can win in a flawless way?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know. I think I'm better than Benoit Saint Denis. I don't know how the fight going to how the fight goes. You know, I don't
Mm.
know what round or if I'm gonna finish him or not. But I just see myself uh, as a better version of Benoit Saint Denis. I think he's way more aggressive than me, but skill wise, I think I am better than him.
What do you feel like you do better than anybody else in the lightweight division? Is the one thing you think that you do better than everybody else?
I think the back taking, right?
Mm.
I don't know how many rear naked choke. I think 10 something. I don't know. I don't even remember how many rear naked choke I have, but that is a lot. So if I get your back, probably I will finish you. And that's why Jalin Turner was not willing to give me the back, and I had the TKO. So I add one more weapon to my to my 2Ks. 2Ks, I think is that right? I don't even know, but I don't know. I think I, I am a good fighter, you know. So, but I think probably I have the best back taking on the division.
I have to. The NFL season is in full swing, and we have a fantastic new offer from our partners over at DraftKings, the number one place to bet on touchdowns. And right now, all new customers who bet $5 will instantly receive $200 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you sign up using our promo code Inside Fighting. The crown is yours. I have to bring you back to that fight last time out against UFC 300. It was my first time watching you live, which is a very special experience for me. How do
Yeah,
you reflect on what was a fantastic victory over Jalin Turner and a fight where you had to overcome a lot of adversity to get the victory as well?
yeah, that was a great fight. That was a huge fight for me. Of course, first round I had some setbacks. Right,
Mm.
Jalin Turner is a very aggressive and he's very good at striking. So I was winning the fight, and then he caught me with a straight punch.
Mm.
I survived, and then I had to show up. So I have a little adversity on the fight, and that's good. I like that. You know, I don't. I think that's even better. The taste of the victory is even better when you have something to overcome.
This has been such a big year for you. When I think back about the Drew Dober win and the post-fight interview after that fight, when I think about the comeback win against Jalin Turner at UFC 300, and then the post-fight interview after that, and then this crazy big fight that you're going into against Benoit. When you think about where you were at the start of the year to where you are now, how happy are you with the progress that you've made, and also that dare I say, the star power that you've been able to generate?
I don't know. I don't know if I would say star power. I'm still um, like the hardcore fans know me,
Mm.
but at the same time, I don't care, brother. I have to be honest with you. I'm doing that by myself. I'm doing that because of my family, and I do have a message to tell everybody about responsibility, about you have to do the best for you and for your family, and you have to take care of your family. But I'm doing this for myself. Make no mistake, you know. I like that some people like me and like to watch my fights, but don't take any advice from Moicano. I don't know nothing. I'm just a knucklehead that fights, you know.
No, I completely agree with what you're saying, but I guess my point is the bigger star you are, the bigger opportunities you will get, the faster you'll be able to climb the rankings. And you have developed a massive, maybe star power is the wrong word, as you say, but you have developed your following. I've seen your
A
Instagram
momentum,
followers.
right? A momentum. Yeah,
Momentum.
I have built a momentum, and I could get this star power from a big fight. You know, of course, Paddy Pimblett because he's very well known, or maybe somebody on the top five. You know, but that's not what I'm focused on today. Not only because Benoit Saint Denis is a tough opponent, but because I don't care. I have been I have been all my life trying to be like popular, to be. Now I don't fucking
Mm.
care. I just want money. Of course, like you say, the momentum brings you more money, but my primary uh, resolution for say is win, because then I get money, and let's go from there. But right now I'm really focused on September 28th.
You win this fight September 28th. What do you think is the next move for you? That the fight with you and Paddy does seem like a realistic next option, but you also win this fight. We're talking about your momentum. It would also feel like you should be looking ahead to the rest of the top 10. So what do you feel you would like next with a win over Benoit Saint Denis in top
I
12?
don't know. Really depends, right? Really depends on how the fight goes. The speech after the fight, like I have to say the right words. So it's going to be a combination. So I never planned that stuff. I will just flow and see how it goes. And I'm feeling very comfortable. I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling prepared. My mind is in the right place, and that's the best thing. And I put on the God's hand, and God's gonna lead me to greater things.
I have to ask you about a development in the lightweight division over the last 24 hours. That is Charles Oliveira that will face Michael Chandler in the co-main event of UFC 309. It looks like Michael Chandler has finally moved on from the Conor McGregor fight. What do you make of Oliveira Chandler 2 for UFC 309?
Just a minute. Just a minute. My son is trying to
He can
raise the
come
volume over here.
he can come and say hello. Hello.
No, let him over there. I thought he would like up the volume here, and I could not hear, but that's okay. So it's unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. I have been talking this for 2 years. Chandler, get over this. McGregor is not fighting. McGregor is not fighting. Like, he doesn't have the incentives to fight. What's the incentives? He makes more money outside fighting than fight for sure. He makes more money. So every time that he show up and he say, I'm fighting Chandler, and he's doing the promotion, he's getting this attention and bring it to somewhere, to a movie, to a product. So I don't see McGregor. Maybe if something crazy happens and then he fights Oliveira or somebody like that, but I don't know. I think that's the right thing. Don't fucking uh, wait for McGregor, because that's not happening.
The booking odds have Justin Gaethje as the most favored next opponent for Conor McGregor when he makes his return. Who do you think he will face when he eventually does return? Or do you think that is him and the match is done?
I have no idea. I have no idea who's McGregor is fighting next, and I have no idea if for sure, if I was McGregor, I would not fight, because that's just going to hurt his legacy. But who knows? He's crazy. Maybe he wants to come back and try. We saw Jose Aldo doing that. But of course, Jose Aldo, even though he's a legend, he's not on the same level of McGregor, right? As a star power. And that's the right use of the word. McGregor is a star power.
Mm.
And I would like to see him fighting, of course, but I think doesn't do good for his promotion, not for his career, for his legacy. So I don't see McGregor fighting anymore. But I could be wrong.
UFC 306 is tonight, and the opener is Raul Rosas Jr. I saw you on the Show Me the Money podcast say how ugly he is. You really feel like he's that ugly of a guy, Renato?
Hey, guess what? I talked that on the last week. He's ugly, but I am too. So there is no problem. I was just trying to be funny. Some people they get a grudge, and they
Mm.
hate me too much just for saying funny stuff. I'm not trying to hurt the guy's feeling, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't care about that. And I'm just trying to be funny. But let's say he's prettier than me. So he's ugly, but he's prettier than me.
Who do you think are the top three best looking fighters in the UFC right now? We will keep it to male so that you don't get in trouble with Mrs. Moicano, but who do you think are the top three best looking male
Top
UFC fighters?
top one, Renato Moicano for sure. Top two, Raul Rosas Jr., because I say he's prettier than me. And Hasbula number three. I guess he's not a UFC fighter, but he, but No, I'm joking. I don't know. I don't know. I will stay on these three options.
I like it. I like it. Well, last thing I wanted to do before we finish is I wanted to give you some fights in the lightweight division that aren't currently booked, and you give me your first impression of who you think would win. And this will grow. So the guy that you say for in the first fight, we'll go to the next fight. So the first one I have for you fantasy matchup is Benoit Saint Denis versus Jalin Turner. Your future opponent versus your last opponent.
That's a very good question. I think Benoit Saint Denis beats Jalin Turner.
Benoit Saint Denis or Rafael Fiziev.
Rafael Fiziev for sure. Let me tell you something. I saw a clip of Rafael Fiziev saying nobody's calling him, and they are not calling him for a reason. He's a fucking monster. That's the truth. You know, on his last fight against Mateus Ganró, he, of course, Mateus could beat him because of the wrestling pedigree and stuff, but Rafael Fiziev he's very very dangerous.
Rafael Fiziev or Paddy Pimblett.
Rafael Fiziev for sure, for
Rafael
sure.
Fiziev or Michael Chandler.
Rafael Fiziev.
Rafael Fiziev or Max Holloway.
That's a good one. That's tough. I will go with Max Holloway.
Max Holloway or Dan Hooker.
100% Max Holloway. There is no question about that.
Max Holloway or Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier because he beat him one time.
Dustin Poirier or Conor McGregor.
Dustin.
Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira.
Charles Oliveira.
Charles Oliveira. We've seen this fight on your last fight card, but Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan.
Ahmad Sarukian.
The next title fight between Arman Tsarukyan and Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev.
And the last one, Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano.
Renato Moicano. Because I cannot, even though he's better than me, I cannot afford to lose.
I love it.
I'm not losing.
I love it. Renato, it is always a pleasure catching up. Thank you so much for the time. So grateful to be able to see you fight again and hopefully in Paris. And best of luck for the next fight.
Thank you so much, my brother. Us.